All right, so welcome everybody out in social media land. We are excited. We are excited to have our talk show, A Youth Perspective, on today. And we're excited about what the show is about. We're going to actually talk to the actual interns for the Public Health Youth Academy who are working on this special project, a special project around health communications, around racial inequities, disparities, social justice, COVID-19, you name it. If it means something to the young people, we're talking about it. And so we're excited about today. We have some fabulous mentors and co-hosts who will act as our interviewers today, being Miss Ashley Young, Miss Jasmine Hall, Miss Monisha Summers, and Miss Kiera Wallace. All right, and before we get started, we want to give a shout out. We had two interns who couldn't make it. One she had to get these grades in. She's in class, so we want to give a shout out to Kayla and to Thomas, who was called in to work late today. And they're normally here with us every week. So we wanted to give shouts out to them. So I'm excited. Y'all ready to jump into this thing? I see thumbs, I see heads nodding. All right, so we're gonna kick it off. All right, and so I'm gonna turn it over to our first co-host, who will begin to engage our interns. And again, the whole purpose of this is to really get to know the young people that are doing this work, get to know who they are, what makes them happy, and why they do what they do, and what they want to do as they continue to matriculate through life and through their careers and their educational journeys. So at this time, we're gonna turn it over to Ashley. Take it away, Ashley.
All right, who are you? I thought of a whole movie. Pay me no mind, right? Okay, no, but seriously, if everybody could just take a moment, come into the space, right? And tell us who you are, what's your name, what's your age. I would say what's your grade, but looks like we got some college folks in this thing, right? So where are you in your education journey? How about that? Anybody, everybody.
I'll start it off. My name is Cruz Duhart. I am 19 years old from Flint, Michigan. I no longer live out there, but that's home. That's home. I am a first-year sophomore at Morehouse College. And I think that covers all your points.
First-year sophomore. Okay, so in my head, I want to say we don't raise hands at Freedom Schools, but we're also not at Freedom Schools. Go
on. My name is Christian Mays. I'm 17, and I'm a senior at a high school at the moment. I was born in Flint, live in Flint still. So, yeah.
Hand raising is oppression. Y'all are killing me. Just jump in.
All right. Hi, my name is Amir Ellison Brown. I am a sophomore at U of M Flint. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Obviously I lived in Grand Blanc, and been in Flint a few times for, family members and stuff, and my grandparents, so glad to be here.
I guess I'll go next. Hello, everybody. My name is Everett Graham. I'm 15 years old, and I'm a sophomore in high school, but I'm also dual enrolled. I know I get some extra brownie points for that.
My name is Asia Donald. I'm 17, first year freshman at Oakland University, and I am from Flint.
Let's see, we got Khalil, we got Cole. Y'all there? Cole, Khalil?
Yeah, I'm here. It's currently a standoff.
Say that again?
Never mind. My name is Cole Mays. I'm a junior, and I am dual enrolled.
Okay, so wait, so if ever get extra points, you get extra points for that too? No. Okay.
Yeah, I should too. I'm taking automotive classes at Mott.
Extra points for everybody. You get a point, and you get a point, and And you get a point too. Your mama get a point too. Okay. Someone said, how old were you? How old are you? Wow, Cole say you are a junior, right?
Yeah, I'm 16.
Boom. There it is. Okay. And let's see. Khalil, I don't know if
Well, I guess I could say I am one of the mentors of the program. I'm not actually an intern, but I actually did graduate with dual enroll too. So that's a struggle. Yeah, I look forward to that.
well, black don't crack. I can't tell. I don't know who's a mentor and thank the creator. Thank your mama. Thank your daddy. Thank somebody. I can't tell. It was, Kiara, Jasmine, Mo, jump in here. Tell who are you? Everybody introduce themselves.
Am I old enough to say I don't want to tell my age? I feel like I'm old now.
Yeah, you don't have to tell your age.
I mean, I am old, but I'm 26. I'm from Flint. I graduated in 2012, and I'm a 1L at University of Maryland.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. Also 26. Been knowing Kiera since middle school. I am a Flint native. Recently moved back home, and I work in public health.
Hi, I'm Onisha. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Onisha Summers, and I am not saying my age because I am not 26. And I work at Michigan State University with Jasmine in public health as well. And I am a Flint native also.
And I would be remiss if I didn't say that Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, is in the house. So that's just that. All right. Okay. So what are your superpowers? How are you super? What are your superpowers? And how do you activate them? Think about that.
If it's okay with everybody, I'm gonna go first. I would have to say one of my biggest superpowers is that I have like this crazy endurance. So like I might be struggling in something, but no matter what, I'm gonna keep pushing regardless to how bad it hurts or how bad it makes somebody else hurt. As long as it's not hurting anybody, I'm gonna endure.
You gonna hop in, Amir?
You can go first.
Oh yeah, so I don't know about y'all, but I'm this is my word. I'm good at communicating, I think, or at least expressing how I feel, and I try to do my best to speak for others like me. And then my second is my leadership. I think I'm like a leader. I can help stand up for people and things like that. And by actions, yes, not just by words.
So with me, my two superpowers, I have really good communication skills, so I can really talk to anybody. And also, I'm very highly determined. So like anything put in front of me, like work or anything, I'm very hardworking.
I guess I go.
Wait, can you hear me? I gotta make sure. Okay, I got two superpowers as well. One of them, complete math whiz. If I don't know it, I can figure it out. Unlike any other subject, I'm pretty at math. My second superpower is my ability to love through anything. I'm able to love people no matter what they've done to me. I can't fathom hating anybody.
I'd say, I have two. Might as well throw in two. My dexterity and things I do, like working with my hands a lot. I learn from my hands all the time. Like I draw all the time. I just do things with my hands. It's how I communicate most of the time. And as I said before, determination. I just don't give up. I continuously work on something until it's done. So.
Give them another one, Everett. Give them another one.
Yeah, I didn't know we was given two superpowers. But another superpower, I would say I'm an overthinker. Not one that seemed like a superpower, but overthinking has saved me so many times because I'll cover myself before I even know I need to cover myself. And that's the biggest superpower.
Cole, what about you?
Mm.
So would you all say that what you identify as your superpower is what you like most about yourself, or is that something different? And if it is something different, what is it? Okay. What do you like most about yourself?
That I can smile through anything. I like that about myself because it's like anything could be happening. I probably could get hit by a car and I'd still find a reason to smile. And it'd be like, well, you just got hit by a car. And I'd be like, well, does that really matter? Like, there's always something to smile about.
I mean, I think it's something different too. And I guess my favorite thing about myself would probably be that I've always been different. Like I've never been like a part of the pack, you could say, I guess. So my taste in everything has always been different from other people, and that's one of my favorite things about myself. Because like with me, it's like digging into a mystery box. Like depending on the day, you gonna get a different personality. It is not like anything you've seen before.
Anybody else want to jump in there, or anybody else think that? Yeah.
I'd say it's different for me too. I think it's a mix of just, I don't know, like I learned something one way and do it in an entirely different way, and just continuously learn more different, like, different ways how to do that thing. Continuously. So I find that, something pretty strong.
I thought about, so I'm into superheroes. And so when you said continuously learning, I was like, dang, who can do that? That's a really dope superpower to have. Super random, right? But I guess my last question, for the sake of time, would be, what is something important or core to who you are, to your identity, that folks couldn't tell just by looking at you? I say that's my last question. I feel like I came from Jazz. Yeah, she like, I tell you, let me give her credit. Okay, I'm so Cruz. I told you hand raising is oppression. Just jump in this thing.
I don't want to cut into people. It's hard with the Zoom and everything, but I'm thinking maybe my charisma. I felt Asia when she was talking about her smile. I'm a very expressive person. I can't hold it back really. And so normally when people interact with me, like that's one of the first things they notice. I'm either foolishly grinning like all the time, or something else is going on with my face, and so I think that's kind of it.
I'll go ahead and jump in. I'm gonna say for me is I like to laugh and I like to make other people laugh. So I'm definitely in the class clown. So in a lot of situations I'm definitely that person that's acting the fool to make everybody else laugh. But don't get me wrong, I handle my business, but I'm definitely that person. So I feel like that's something people notice about me right off the bat.
For me, I would say probably my positive mindset, because I try to add a little bit of happiness in everything I do. So
For me, it's kind of like the same as Everett, but I'm not just making everybody laugh. I kind of direct my jokes towards like an intellectual level. So like if you don't read simple things, or like you're not that kid who's like reading about anything, you won't understand my jokes because I'm current with my jokes and I'm intellectual with them. They're like on a whole nother level.
All right. If there isn't anyone else, then I'm going to slide it on over to Kiera. So, okay, so I almost had a ratchet moment. I was like, Kiki, do you? I'm like, no, don't do it, Ashley, but I couldn't help myself.
Okay, guys. So now we're going to talk about what you all are doing right now. And so feel free to jump in as you have a response. But the first question is, what extracurricular activities and hobbies are you engaged in?
I'll go ahead and go first. Many of people, I'm pretty sure like everybody knows, but for people that don't know, I play hockey. It's not like a common thing for people that look like me. So that's one extracurricular activity that I'm in, as well as the Alpha Esquires. Pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with Alpha Phi Alpha, the fraternity. So they have a mentoring group called the Alpha Esquires, and I'm also involved in that, the vice president of that.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. VP. Oh, you
You
gonna
can
go?
go.
Okay, for sure. Okay, Mr. VP, Everett Graham, I see you down there. But in high school, I participated in basketball, football, and track. But right now with college, there's not really much extracurricular besides this and hanging out with friends and stuff.
Asia out here being super athlete. And I know Everett's position because I used to be in Alpha Escort, Alpha Esquires as well. But mainly what I do now.
What's your position?
See, that was a year ago, but I was president. But yeah, basically what I do now is poetry and spoken word. I do performances and things like that. What other hobbies? I play video games. Something slight, almost like everybody else. But what else do I do? I try to be an activist, so social justice groups and things like that as well. But with this school semester and COVID, shoot, I don't leave too much room. I'm mainly a student.
Okay,
Yeah,
so for me,
see, so I figured. You go first.
Okay, all right, thank you. So for me, I am an Eagle Scout. So, and then also I was also part of Alpha Esquires about a year ago. Yep, yeah, with Cruz, and then also I've been in this other group. It's a national, leadership society that I'm doing right now. So, yep, that's me.
All right, and I most of the time I just draw. I just kind of nerd out and draw all the time. I play sports whenever I can. Basketball. I was on a team, middle school, whatever, if that means anything. I work on cars all the time. I'm going to college for that too, so a lot of technicians and stuff like that. So anything that's just like nerdy with your hands, I'm gonna be starting to doing that. That's what I'm doing every year.
Okay, anybody else before I move on to the next one? Or are we on? Okay. And also, working with your hands or anything that you're interested in is not nerdy. That's just you, which leads to my next question. What are you passionate about, and what would you do for free for the rest of your life that makes you happy? Asia, you look like you got a good one ready. You got it. Okay. Anybody else want to go out? Asia getting hers together?
That was a good question. You got to take a second to think about it.
And I love that question, Kiera, because I remember having a mentor earlier on asking me, like, if you had all the money in the world, right, and you didn't have to do anything for a living, what would you do that would make you feel fulfilled and happy? And so I think that's a wonderful question. And I think I ask myself that question annually to see if I'm still in that same place, because we change as human beings and we evolve. So I love this question and how we're engaging in this thought process, because it does take a moment to think about it. It really does.
I've got my good one.
Okay, be ready. I'll be waiting.
If I had all the money in the world and I could choose one thing that I was passionate about, it would be the arts. I like digital arts, visual arts, physical arts. If that was a thing, it probably is. I like it. And I would do it for the rest of my life. No matter what I had, if I could do it, every facet of it, it would be me. But I have limits because I'm a human being, so I can't really do everything. But if I could, the arts, that's me.
For me, my default answer was going to be volunteer work, just helping people out, but as well activism. But Asia just reminded me I really like photography too, low key. I like taking pictures sometimes, and so I would do that for free. That and video editing maybe, because those are like real fun to just play around with. Those are the only visual arts I can do. Besides that, I'm just back to music. And oh dang, I didn't say I make music. That's kind of important. That's what I want to pursue as a career. But yeah, photography, activism, volunteer work. Yeah, those are some things that I would love to do without even, having money involved.
I'll go ahead and go next. Like Cruz, I really, really like music. Like I'll probably listen to music more than I do anything. So I wanna for the rest of my life for free. I would make music. So I would be a producer, or I'll be a rapper, or a singer if I could sing. Maybe one day I'll be able to sing. But yeah, if I had to do anything for free, I would do music.
And I'm right with Asia with the arts. If I had to work on anything for free, which I sort of already do, I've been doing all my life. I haven't gotten paid for drawing or anything like that, but yeah, I just continue drawing, and I wouldn't need the gratitude or anything like that from it. I just see my own stuff improving and such. So that and work on cars. If I got free cars, then yeah, sure.
So we can get around and we can make music. I love that. And I think just for me, I want to just jump in too. I'm listening to all this artistic inspiration and skills and energy. And when we think about public health and when we think about our community, how important it is for arts to be incorporated in the community, not only to engage community, but it also tells our story in so many ways. I think about Marvin Gaye's song, What's Going On, it was really talking about social issues. And so the arts is magical. The arts is powerful. The arts is everything. And I love that. And I love how, for me being a doctor in public health, how to engage the arts to do communication and to communicate to communities who may be dealing with issues. That's definitely a venue that I live for. So, and then being a singer and a songwriter, I love that as well. So I'm just excited. I think we're gonna have to do some arts related stuff as well. Y'all getting me hyped.
And Amir, you took your mic off mute a couple times. So.
Oh, yeah. So me, also I forgot to mention, I played piano for 5 years. Yeah. And then also, probably me, I like sports like a lot. Like I'm really deep into sports. So either like what I'm doing now, basically prepping for like physical therapy and everything like that, and working with athletes, that'd be cool. And also just like coaching any like sports like basketball, football. That to me is fun.
When me and Jazz were in school, I don't know if this is still true. Well, it's only like 2 schools left, but when me and Jazz was in school, the Flint schools, I think used to be called the School of Performing Arts. And it actually was mandatory for us we either had to be in choir, band, or dance. And it was so terrible that you had to I think you had to be in 2 maybe, because I remember I ended up in dance one year and I'm like, this is not it. Like, it was not, and we had to wear uniforms too. We had to do dance. We had it was terrible. So I'm happy to, do you remember that?
There's evidence out there.
You know what? And I don't want anybody to uncover it, so don't. There's no evidence.
I'm gonna put myself on the line and let y'all know that I did ballet for 10 years. So y'all not alone. I promise y'all.
Oh.
Oh, the things we didn't know. The things we didn't know.
Asia, I need you to find the evidence.
I was just about to say that.
Of
Like, we need to find
or of them.
What school did you guys?
No, not no of the
No, of Jasmine and Kiara.
her years of dance.
I'll
So
be
I
on
bet I don't
Facebook
need to-
tonight. It's okay, guys. I'll be on Facebook.
Okay, but we're gonna focus on you and your dancing. This is about you guys, not us. It's about you guys. So let's move on before we go down that rabbit hole. The next question is, who was the most influential person to you growing up and why?
I can go first. Oh, you got it, Christian. You got it.
All right. I just immediately say the first thing top of my mind is my parents, because I get all artistic stuff and my car stuff from my dad, and I get my fighting spirit and my, general knowledge from my mom, like the accounting and stuff like that, the things you need to go to college. So I get creativity from one side, and then everything behind it right at the second from my mom. So parents are the one.
Yeah, for me, my mom was a single mom for like a majority of my childhood. So I had a village. So like all my mom's friends, my grandparents, like my family from around the week, like we had a village. So I have to give a huge shout out to them because they really like sculpted me and made me the person that I am. And then another huge shout out to my big brother. He like was so influential in my life and still is. Even though he's not my blood brother, but we're past that now. Like it's more than blood. So yeah.
I'm gonna say the easiest answer for me is gonna be my older brother. He's 10 years older than me, and when I was real young, it was like I was like following in a lot of his footsteps. That's actually how I started playing video games, because it was one of the ways that we bonded. And yeah, just watching him function and doing things that like are older than me, obviously, because the 10-year gap. But knowing that it wasn't too much long from when he was going through stuff that I was going through, and so I could sort of like ask him for advice and all that. It was like really cool. Then he, grew up. So shout out to that, but that's a whole different thing.
So with me, it has to be my grandparents. Because basically, my mom, she lives like, pretty far away. So like my grandparents basically subbed in, and they've been taking care of me like for like almost all my life. And so shout out to them.
Now, real me wants to say my entire family, but the question was one person. So, mama's girl me wants to say mama, but real me wants to say if there's one person who's influenced me more than anybody else, it would have to be my younger brother, Tylen. He's 2 years younger than me, but we run in a pack. Like, it's like if I'm coming, Tylen's coming. If Tylen's coming, I'm coming. It's like I'm the first person he calls whenever he needs anything, and it's the same for him. He is actually somebody who helped me to use all of the life lessons that my family taught me in reality. Like, he's that person who I had to run everything through. So shout out to Tylen, because I love him and my best friend.
That is so powerful. When we think about mentors and inspiration, people tend to automatically go to people who are older. But when you think about us being all connected, I mean, I'm in my Lion King moment, right? One one vibration, one unit, one heartbeat that flows through us all. And it's amazing because the same way Tyler inspired you, you will be amazed how you all are inspiring other people that are watching our shows, who are old enough to be your parents and grandparents. And I think that is an awesome thing.
Yes, that was very sweet. Made me think of my little brother, who was more of a pain now that he's older and trying to be grown, but you know, still my little brother. Um, the last question is, what do you know now that you wish? Um, when I wrote that question, I was thinking more about school, and so I'm gonna answer that question real quick, but it could be in any aspect of your life. For me, I was always focused on like getting in, getting out, getting done. And so one thing now that I'm like, after law school, I'm not doing this again. But so in my last phase of school, when I think back of like all of the time that I used to like study and like, I don't know, do book related stuff, I'm like, I really could have went out more. Like I really could have went to a party. I could have spent more time, you know, with other, not, Ashley's a little too turned up over there. The goal is still to be in the books.
Have fun with
but
us.
yeah. But there was a movie that came out about these two girls in high school, and they're like, I don't know, super nerds, and she wore like a suit to like school, like this suit or whatever, and she was real uptight and like going in on all of these other people. And then she realized these people that she was talking about had got into like all these Ivy schools, and she was like, that just wastes my life. So while you do need to focus on school and keeping the ball rolling on that, do enjoy the time that you have in undergrad. Undergrad is gonna be the best time of your life. So enjoy the time that you have in undergrad. Use discretion, but enjoy that.
So Kiera, can you restate the question for us?
What do you know now that you wish someone told you earlier? And so I'm telling y'all to enjoy because I know that now and I didn't. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I got like a really untraditional answer. But for me, as far as like school and life, I really wouldn't change anything. I feel like I learned a lot more from my mistakes than I would have learned from somebody telling me to do or to not do something. So is for me, I definitely would have done everything how I did it just so that I can learn and like become a better person off my mistakes.
I am not like Everett. uh, I feel like if I would have known that I was super into arts like this, because I spent time doing other things, I wish I would have spent or at least started earlier with poetry and music because it's like so important to me now. And if I could have like had some extra years, get some skill in even further, ooh, we'd be up here.
So I guess for me, I guess like the workload in like college, like from high school to college, especially a human bio major, it's like it's a whole new. You got to be on top of things and very, very highly organized. And so I would just tell myself just to be more organized and like more basically more put together with organization.
I think what I would have done differently is really, you know, you don't really appreciate what you have until it's gone. And so when I think about like grandparents, like all of my biological grandparents pretty much have transitioned. And so really just pulling out all of the nuggets I could have gotten from them. Like some stuff now resonates now, like little stuff that they were saying, you're like, what that mean? But now it's like, oh, I get it now, you know, but just really just embracing and like pulling out as much of their experiences and their wisdom as I could have. And I did get a lot because I was definitely a granny's child. But when I think about the experiences and the things that I hear them saying now in my head when I'm dealing with stuff, it's like, that's what you meant by that. So I'm like, oh, I wish I could ask you a question right now, you know? And so those are the types of things that if you can pull wisdom from the people while you have them here, do that. Because I'm telling you, I've never been one of those, I wasn't one of those kids that I had to just see for myself. If you told me that if you keep walking straight, you're gonna walk into a wall and bump your head, I wasn't gonna go straight. But some people just got to see for themselves, you know? So I think that's what I would have liked to know, to be able to really have captured that even younger.
Am I good? Can you hear me? All right. I think if I knew something back when I first started high school, I would probably want to know, like, just for somebody to tell me just do it. Like, just act on what you want to do. I wanted to, when I was a freshman, I wanted to play football, and I waited all the way until my junior year to play football. It took me 2 years to to actually try to play football, and I loved it. I wish I could have did it for all 4 years. I wish I had the courage to stand up and play football. But since I was the only girl, I was like, no, like, don't do it. Like, it's weird. Nobody wants to see you play football. Anything, even like my homework, just do it. Like, you could be the valedictorian. You got the knowledge to do it. Just sit down and do your homework. Go to football practice. Show up somewhere. Just do it.
I'll jump in, because just mentioning like school as a person in between degrees, I feel like I think back to my high school self, trying to do everything and be everything, trying to get straight A's, doing all this hard work instead of really being happy. And I remember some advice that I got in grad school about giving 80%, like saying no to a lot of stuff. And then for most things, give it 80%. That last 20% is going to take a lot out of you. And a lot of times it won't be worth it. So, sign up for things you want to do, give it 80% or more. Sometimes, you really do need to push and give it your all, but just to preserve yourself. Like, you don't have to be perfect at every little thing, and people will still love you. People will still accept you. You don't have to be super nothing. You can just be, but say no to stuff. That was like 5 pieces of advice in one.
I mean, that was a good segue because you're up.
Sweet. So I'll talk a bit about, or I'll ask you guys a bit of questions about the future. We talked about you and the now, so we're headed into the future, and I want to know kind of what are your aspirations? Like, what career do you want to have in the future? I know we heard a little bit from Cruz and from Christian, but I want to hear from everyone, and you two can elaborate. So aspirations and careers. Go ahead.
Okay, so for me, my plan is to hopefully become a physical therapist and have my own business and stuff, and basically work for myself, because I want to be, a business owner and provide services. And I think that'd be good for me in character building also. So that's what I want to do.
Thank you for sharing.
Much like I want to have my own business, my own kind of enterprise sort of thing on it, but it's not going to be on anything like entrepreneur-like. It's going to be on tattooing. I want to do tattoos as a start, and as a finish, I want to do that all my life. But if that doesn't end up working out, I want to do that as a side project, just to have, an extra kind of income of money as I'm working on cars, or a mechanic or something like that. I'm going to college for but in my dream, I would love to be my own self-sufficient businessman who does tattoos.
You got this.
For me, I said I want to be in music because I make music. I want to become an executive music producer, so like a director of sorts, someone who helps on the projects and all that. I want to continue writing, so I want to be a writer. So potentially poetry and essays, that type of vibe. And then I still want to do activism. And I'm going to find out where my role necessarily in that is. but I want to help um, the movements that I'm part of and push things forward.
Oh, thank you for sharing. I'm looking forward. I can just see little pieces of everything you just shared. So I'm excited to see where you go.
For me, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm sort of at a crossroads right now as of what I want to do.
That's okay.
But I'm mainly leaning towards I want to be a real estate agent and have my own agency at some point. And then like I mentioned before, and like Cruz mentioned, I want to do music. So whether I become a rapper or a music producer, I'm leaning more toward music producer. But yeah, I want to incorporate music into my later life.
Nice, nice.
And you know,
Thank
you don't have to choose one. You know, you can be all that. I mean, have you seen the Master P documentary?
I'm greedy. I'm taking all three. All
It's
three.
called being a mogul. You can master several areas and have several different streams of income and revenue coming in, and don't have to worry if one dries up in one area, you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in another. So again, you know, we used to sing a song by the Clark sisters growing up that the sky is the limit to what you can have. But I have gone beyond that we can even reach beyond the sky if we want to. You know, because if we can send a man to the moon, then we can go beyond what we know as the sky. So yeah, just think about multiple things. Like one thing I love about public health for me is that it doesn't put me in one thing. Like I'm on the speaking circuit, right? I'm doing books and I'm writing. I'm doing research, but then I'm out doing activism and community engagement. We're creating products. So it's not like you're pigeonholed in one area. And so think about that. When it's time as you're looking at what you want to do, you don't have to limit yourself to one thing. You can be great all the time. You don't all the time. Somebody can just put that on a t-shirt. You can be great all the time. That's a tagline, right? And you can be great at everything. So don't limit yourself and think about the full potential of who you are. Because I've come to learn that in certain phases or chapters in my life, my attention and my greatness shifts in one area, but I didn't lose what I had in the other either. You know what I'm saying? It still follows you. So I just want to throw that out there because y'all young queens and young kings, and y'all gonna make this happen.
Yes, yes. Does anyone else want to share their career before we transition into the next question?
I'll go. Now, like Everett, I used to be at a crossroads for a lot of like high school. It took me so long to figure out what I really wanted to do. And I still don't know the entire plan, but I do know that I will own a production firm just because I love the arts so much and I just can't see myself working for anybody else like long term. So I'm gonna own a production firm. It's gonna have music, it's gonna have TV, it's gonna have fashion. It's just gonna be like it's gonna be like if ADHD threw up in a building, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm gonna make it look good.
Make it look intentional. Yes, yes. Anyone else?
I would like to go.
Okay.
I would like to either be an animator or an engineer. I don't really know which one I want to be, but I'm trying in both careers. I have Adobe Animate and I'm trying out ways to animate there, and I'm also taking engineering classes, so I really don't know which one I want for my future, but I'm trying.
I say go ahead and be both, Cole. Be both.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. Any of the mentors want to share their aspirations or career?
I never want to grow up.
Period. All right. Well, I loved hearing, huh? Oh,
who me?
Okay. I thought someone was talking. But I loved hearing Asia, and actually a few people talk about just being at a crossroads or feeling kind of torn between a few different potential careers, a few different journeys. And we know it's never a straight path. If you ever hear people like Dr. Key giving talks, people mention, oh, I started off as a teacher and boom, 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 and here I am now. You see Ashley, really doing her thing now, and people have a windy path. So I want to ask that question kind of in another way too, just to understand, like, what are the issues or what are the problems that you want to solve? And that this could actually kind of get at the multiple ways that you want to go at solving this problem. So yeah, like, what is an issue that you want to solve either in your community or just in the world?
So for me, where all three of my projects intersect is I want to do social justice and activism. Really what it's for me is awareness. I want to make music that's messaging for people, and it's positive messaging, social messaging, all the different types of messaging. And I after being with FPHYA, I have to weave public health into it too. And so I just want to speak about the different things that people encounter and aren't aware of. And so I'm gonna tap into that a little bit with the writing. That when I said essays, that's sort of what I was thinking that. I set out to do with music, and then with activism, I'm just going to speak up about it. If I'm given a platform, I can't refuse to chance an opportunity to speak on things that need to be talked about.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think for me, Jasmine, it's all about health disparities and looking at why are there injustices and disparities across the multitude of topics when we compare outcomes of health and finance and the distribution of wealth and looking at those things. And we think about the social injustices. One thing that I am really passionate about is addressing and eliminating dismantling racism. And I think that for me, when I became a health disparities researcher and looking at racial and health ethnic disparities, that kind of fueled me when I remember and thought about people from my church and my communities that died from stuff that was totally preventable. But yet some people in certain communities and some ethnic groups die from it more than others, even though they may have similar conditions as their European American counterparts. And so that just kind of put a fire behind me to really help to address the unnecessary sickness, illness, and dying of people of color specifically. But I want to work for all people and make sure that we're all, I want an even playing field for all of us so that we can live our best life. So that's kind of what I'm working towards.
Yes. Thank you for including us in that.
For me, I would have to say one of the biggest problems I would like to eliminate in life probably be like the hate that people have and then the lack of people being real. So I feel like it's way too much hate in the world. And like, especially with like kids growing up, you look on YouTube and you look on Instagram and Snapchat and all you see is hate towards another person or a group of people for no reason. And you turn around and you got these people out here living like their lives are perfect when it's the complete opposite of that. So I feel like there should be way more real incorporated into like social media and like television, like everything. Like people just need to be more real and stop hating each other stop hating each other.
Mm-hmm. And really hating selves, you know. Other things we want to solve. Go ahead, Cole.
Anyone else want to go?
Oh, no.
Oh, all right. I feel like when it comes to like stuff like racism, all those stuff like that, it's just like the fear of being wrong. You know, you got like anti-masking and stuff like that. It's just the fear of being wrong, and people would rather take action and end a life just to not admit that they're completely wrong. So I kind of want to make it okay to be wrong, because if you never admit that you're wrong in anything, you will never learn to grow or improve. I just feel like it's a problem with like most people like of today, you know, racists and stuff like that. I feel like if they just realized what they were doing was wrong, and you know, they didn't have this belief that what they were doing was completely right at all times, because one or two people said it was right, and even though a sea of millions and over billions have said it was wrong, and yet you still believe the one or two people that do believe that's right. I feel like, but even then, you don't want to ditch the opinion because you got that one person who's going to be like, oh my God, he was wrong, haha. But then it doesn't make sense because if you're wrong, nobody's going to care about it the next day. They only care about you sticking with the opinion for years. So that's my somewhat rant.
That's powerful, Cole. That's a t-shirt, that's a tagline. It's okay to be wrong. Just like we said when we had our mental health show, it's okay to not be okay and to acknowledge it, right? In fact, Cole, not only is it okay to be wrong, it's human. It's human. Yep. That's part of relationships. Correct. Whether it's family, whether it's relationships, whether it's whatever, somebody's gonna be wrong sometime, and it's okay to be wrong. We don't have to be right all the time. So I love that, Cole. That was very powerful.
Okay, so I thought it was a whole bar, and Christian made me think, yo, I wonder, I don't know how you're inspired, but like, yeah, because I like tattoos, so I'm like, I wonder what, if that would motivate you to create, like, you know what I'm trying to say, Christian, like some kind of tattoo or some kind of art or something, but that's just because I do ink. So anyways.
It all comes from the heart and from, what comes on and whatever it means to you. It's all about meaning. It's all, carrying a message. It's what it's all about.
Yeah, so I think for me, that like ever since the situation happened, it seemed like people, they either have like misinformation or wrong information about all the situation happening. Like you see, like Florida, they just lifted their sanctions for COVID and stuff like that. Like people, they're just getting the wrong idea, and they're not informed enough really to really know about what's going on really. And also, especially with my job in the future, hopefully, that I can get people more like of diversity in this field that I'm in, physical therapy, because you don't really see a lot of African Americans involved in physical therapy. So hopefully, I'm gonna incorporate that into what I do. So
you're gonna start calling Amir the messenger of truth,
right? And I gotta jump in, Amir. That's what inspired me to even start the Public Health Academy and to really go into public health, because there is a disparity. Minorities, specifically African Americans, we make up around 4% of medical doctors in the country. There are other doctors that are brown skinned, but we're talking about African Americans. We make up, I see you, Ashley, Black Futures Lab. Yeah, we make up a very low percentage of registered nurses, probably less than 10% of the public health workforce. I think it was like 6% of dentists, but yet these communities of color have the highest rates, right, of health disparities, of diabetes, of heart disease, you name it. And so we have to have more representation and to be represented so that we can come up with the type of community-centered solutions to impact the wholeness and well-being of our community.
Yep. Dr. Summers, were you trying to jump in? Oh, okay. I thought you raised your hand. I'll add to what Dr. Key is saying, just thinking about the public health workforce. I feel like another issue is that people don't know what public health is or the value. You can't see the value of public health often because prevention is key. It's like, oh, we did great. We can't prove it because the issues didn't happen. And so just highlighting more of what public health is to bring people into public health, as well as to bring resources over to public health, whether we're talking, more resources for food access, whether we're talking about climate change, but just we know so many problems. And I am a researcher, but I'm interested in being a researcher that doesn't do research for the sake of publishing papers. We know all the problems in the world, and like you said, Black people are on the wrong end of these health disparities, and so helping to fix that by using research methods to solve problems is something I'm kind of passionate about.
And that's so funny you said that, Jasmine, because I remember going to a family function and I had just become a doctor. And I remember one of my cousins said, "Are you a doctor?" And I said, "Yeah." And then she was like, "So you give shots?" I'm like, I don't get shot. She said, well, you're not no doctor. You know, she's a kid, little kid. And so I had to give an example of the difference between a medical doctor and a public health doctor, right? And so I said, well, when you see your medical doctor, they diagnose or they see or treat one person at a time. They give you an examination, they ask you questions, they diagnose what your issue is, and they write you out a prescription, and then you go and get the medicine. I said, that's a 1-to-1 ratio. But public health is a public health doctor is not 1-to-1. It's one doctor to a population or one doctor to a community. And so you're diagnosing an entire community. So we do the same thing. We diagnose, we get the data, we find out what's wrong, but instead of writing a prescription for a pill or for some cough syrup, you know, we create an intervention or a study or do a public policy piece that then impacts the health and well-being of a community. So you're right, it's not as visible, you know, but when people think about wearing your seatbelts, that's a public health policy. Having to wear helmets when you ride a motorcycle, that's public health, right? And the thing about the pandemic, like COVID and these other things, it's making public health more visible. And so I think it's very important now that those of us who support public health and who are in public health, that we start having these conversations about public health, because unlike the traditional doctor and fireman and policeman, we don't have a costume or a uniform to wear. You can't just look and see what we got on and say, hey, that's public health, right? And so I think, thanks for saying that, Jasmine, because that's definitely one of the things we have to do regarding early exposure.
No problem, no problem. Was there anyone else that wanted to tackle an issue or a problem? All right, so the last question in the future section is, how can people watching you help you achieve your dreams? So what do you need to thrive? I know we're talking about public health right now, and a lot of the ideas as far as social justice and activism that we have, they aren't well funded in public health, or you might not have the platform. So as young people, and for people are watching you, so what do you need to make your dreams come true?
You want to go first, Everett?
You got it. I'll go.
So for me, it's supporting artists, supporting platforms like this, and listening to voices of others, whether that be young voices, voices that are generations older than you. Really, it's just listening to people who are different from you and have a different perspective. That would help so much, because then we could have better understandings of each other and the different types of people that are in our communities, our countries, and all the different types of aspects of life, as well as support artists. Maybe ways to go into music. Artists are sometimes undervalued when they're in existence, and so really it's truly appreciating the different things that people offer. And so whether that's sharing the different things that they do, like sharing this string, or sharing or like following them on social media, all those different types of things, small things that you can do, really help over time.
Really amplifying voices. Thank you.
For me, Cruz really hit a part of it on nail with the support. Like, support me, and what I do, support other people like me doing the things that I want to do. And another, like, the bigger thing is hold me accountable. So like, if I tell you I'm gonna do something and I don't do it, call me out. Be like, hey, you said you was gonna do it, but you ain't do it. Or if you see me mess it up, don't just push it over and be like, hey, he messed up. Tell me, hey, be like, hey, we know you messed up, so now you got to do better. Like, hold me accountable. I don't want y'all to let me slide.
Accountability is key. Anyone else? I know we have some college students who could maybe use some tuition to be paid. I don't know.
That tuition pay does sound nice. I like that. But
Amir, you want to say something. How can people support you?
Yeah, so like for I'm an undergraduate, that's fine because I have like scholarships and stuff and whatnot. But like the after undergraduate, that's when it really, really starts up. And that's where like funds have to be raised like immensely. So like basically anywhere I go for graduate school is gonna be really, really expensive. And so hopefully, just support me and try to basically, give me confidence to be able to, be able to tackle obstacles. And because it's gonna be a long journey. So
Thank you. So financially, we got boosting confidence, we got accountability. What else do we need to thrive? Mentors, feel free to jump in. Especially if what do young people need?
Well, I know for me, just to get to where I am, I know that it wasn't, we talked a lot about skills and, what our superpowers were earlier, but in addition to that, mentors were very important for me. And I realized that I've had mentors all throughout every stage of my life. And when I mentor young people, I always tell them, I can be your mentor now for whatever project we're on, or I can be a lifelong mentor. And I've become lifelong mentors for students who have graduated now in their career, and now they're still calling me and asking me advice. And you build your village, you create your village. I had a great aunt that used to say, relatives are who you're related to by DNA, but your family is who you make it. And so you have to create a family of mentors that, and every mentor doesn't give you the same thing because they all have something different and unique to offer you. But they all have something that nourishes your spirit, your soul, your mentality, and your growth. And so just embracing that and understanding that was very important for me, probably through every phase, is really having those key mentors.
And that's the perfect transition as we talk about, as Dr. Summers go into the FPHYA section, as this is a mentorship model.
Yes, so I have the Flint Public Health Youth Academy, which stands for FPHYA, and I have that section, so I'm going to start, but I'm going to refer to it as FPHYA. So why is being a part of FPHYA important to you?
I'll go first. It's important to me because I get to really like speak my mind and like help people. Like I don't know if I'm helping people, but I hope that what we're doing here is helping people to make sure that they feel comfortable when we talk about mental health, speaking out about mental health. Like Dr. Key said, be okay with saying I'm not okay. So the biggest thing for me is like being helpful to somebody else, whether it's in the smallest way or the biggest way. If something I can say or can do can help somebody else or a lot of people, I just hope that I'm doing that constantly.
Anyone else?
I mean, I'm on the same route. Being able to talk to people that have the same opinions as me and learning other opinions as well, and just getting to publicize what I have to say, even though it might not be as important as other people's, it still it benefits me and my own self, and it benefits others. I hope it just helps to get word spread around, and also this group is awesome to talk about, also talk to and such. So I really like it.
Awesome. Amir, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yep. So in my case, I think it's a stepping stone for me. Like it's a foundation for me to build off of, and also like really be a part of like getting youth involved with public health and really try to spread the word. And so I think it's a really, really good thing for me as far as my career and everything. And and then also just building connections in general and making lifelong friends. So it's nice.
FPHYA has been cool for me because it's presented opportunities to help speak up. It's given me opportunities to help be a mentor almost to the different interns that come underneath me and assist and teach them about things that I didn't know before I joined FPHYA. That and combination with understanding that I'm trying to make a positive impact in my community, that's really important. Um, I owe a lot to Flint, and it's nice that I can have my way of like giving back in a way, and I can do that through something I enjoy, like speaking.
When I was younger, I really, really wanted to be Incredible Hulk. Why Incredible Hulk? I don't know. But fire helps me feel like I'm getting closer to being the Incredible Hulk. I'm becoming an everyday hero for the people who don't have that hero. I'm that voice that they don't have. I'm like a voice for the voiceless, a hero to the oppressed. I always say that. And yeah, it's just like it gives me that one step closer to being Incredible Hulk, that strong being out of rage, out of happiness. I can be Incredible Hulk.
It's so cool because I see all of you guys and I've seen you guys from the very beginning. And this transition is like awesome. Like each and every one of you guys, when you guys started working with the Flint Public Health Youth Academy, from the time you started to now, I see such a big transition. It's just incredible. And you guys are going to all do incredible things. I can see it now. Do you feel that the work that FPHYA is doing is important to you in the community? And if you do, why do you think that? Why is it important?
So for me, it's knowing that somebody can join a live stream or whenever we're out at an event, they can see someone that looks like themselves. And I'm trying to help represent a good role model. In a city that seems like we don't always have the best of those, I can show that, they do exist. They look just like them, and I'm not that much older like than them, and so they can start making a change soon, if not now.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll go to the next question. Um, can you share some examples of FPHYA activities that you have been a part of, and how did you use or develop your superpowers to make that activity a success? Yeah.
So with me, I recently just did a presentation. Um, so I think that was a big boost in confidence building also, and also gives you like a comfort of speaking to others that you don't really necessarily know, and it's also important to make those important connections for the future and be able to make sure you have those people as resources, and also there's people in general in your life that really can help you out. So I think that was nice.
One of the things I can think back to is when we made the catalog of different organizations that help youth in Flint.
Yeah.
That felt a little bit special in the case that I didn't know that some of them existed. And now there's a list of things that people have potential to use, and that was really cool. Like I said, being a mentor was really cool, because it felt like I was passing something on. As simple as that, it was just that moment was nice. And me with my goofy self, I was goofy as usual, but it was nice to share a bond with some people around my age that like, yo, this is something that they don't necessarily teach you in school, but it should be learned, or at least you should have some general information about, and you can really like make a career out of this.
When I first started FPHYA, I did a project which was called a photo voice, and it was very it was very exciting. I didn't really understand it at first. I think Everett did that with me, but we went around, we took pictures of the parks, and it was like just the vibes and the situation. It was very exciting and like happy, but it was like the reason that we were doing it wasn't for a happy reason. It was like the parks around here need some help. We need to, you know, And I think like just you said use one of my superpowers. I think the love, the vibrations that I give off kind of helped that situation because it wasn't like the kids that we were doing it with, I had never seen a day before in my life. Like me and Everett didn't know each other. Me and none of the girls there knew each other. But it was like that was a day that we got to bond and make something that means something. I mean, our we submitted it for APHA, it got accepted and everything. So that was pretty cool.
I haven't been here or done as much as the others in this chat. I've only been here since like early August. But even with that time, I've learned so much. I've been doing so much. We've gotten to do photo shoots and stuff, and it really just makes me feel like I have more of a grounding for everyone else in the world too. I mean, like everyone here, we can all talk. We can all give opinions and stuff like that. We can all help people if we need it. So it's just great to have more people to talk to, especially with this kind of stuff, because it is hard to talk about this stuff normally.
Yes, most definitely. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in. I'm gonna say that it's extremely important, and I'm living proof because we're like Asia mentioned prior to that photo voice. I didn't really know much about public health, other than that it wasn't talked about much, and now I'm a part of the movement of getting it talked about, getting people to start thinking about it and recognize that it is a thing and that is very important and that it can be a career path. So I think it's extremely important.
Yes, most definitely. And it's so amazing because that photo voice project, that was my first time actually doing a photo voice project as well. And so it taught me a lot. Like I didn't know a lot how I knew the parks were in bad shape, but I didn't know they were in that bad of a, that shape. And so I was just amazed at what we found. And I bonded with the youth as well. I mean, we were talking about different things like, oh my gosh, you guys, I would mention my son and you would say, well, what if Mason came to this park and it's glass everywhere? And, just what you guys came up with to present to get the parks cleaned up and jobs for youth, I thought that was very amazing. You guys did awesome on that project. The last question I have is, where do you see FPHYA going and what would you like the world to know about FPHYA?
I'm gonna jump in. Oh yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
Nah, you can go first. You can go first.
Yeah, I was just about to say, worldwide. Matter of fact, nationwide. We're gonna be everywhere. You're not gonna be able to not see us.
So our plan is kind of to expand to touch more people, and that's always the end goal, is to help different people in different ways. And so whether that's showing and promoting good things in our communities to creating new opportunities for other people. We want to help as much as we can, and by growing, we will be able to do that. And so that's definitely a goal of ours. I don't remember the second part though. I'm gonna be honest to the question.
The second was, what would you like the world to know about FPHYA?
I want them to just know that we mean business. We're real serious about making an impact, and we are going to attempt to do that in any way possible. And a lot of us, almost everyone here, is determined and passionate to make that the outcome.
Anyone else? If no one else has anything, I'll hand it over to Dr. Key.
All right, so this was an awesome show, allowing our social media family and our social media audience to get to know you as interns, who you are, what your superpowers are, why you do what you do, and what the Flint Public Health Academy and public health in general, what it means to you. And so I'm very thankful and grateful for you all being a part and sharing your story. To all of those that are out in social media land, we have some wonderful talk shows in line for you that'll be coming up. So tune in. We do a talk show every other Friday at 6:30, and we launch it live on Facebook. And we have some other new and exciting activities that we're working out. So FPHYA is here and we're ready to burn. And I'm telling you, we're gonna make an impact here in not only the city of Flint and the state of Michigan, but across this country. We're also on YouTube. So if you wanna check out our other social media, you can hit, just type in FPHYA, FPHYA, and on Instagram, on YouTube, and here on Facebook, and on Twitter as well. And so again, we thank you all for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time for another youth perspective. Have a great evening.
Bye.